Right now, you're handling this breakup in a way that keeps you stuck. You're replaying everything. You're checking her socials. You're wondering what she's doing with him. You're basically giving your whole mind to someone who already walked away. That has to change. You loved her. You gave her time, attention, and loyalty. You tried to care for her the way you thought you were supposed to, and she still chose someone else. So now you're sitting there thinking you weren't enough, or you did everything wrong, or that this other guy is just better. That way of thinking is the problem. As long as you treat this breakup like proof that you failed as a man, you stay small. You act from guilt. You start over-explaining yourself, chasing her, trying to prove your value. And every move you make from that mindset just lowers your value more. This isn't about convincing her. This is about fixing how you see yourself and how you move. Losing her is not the thing that ruined you. Losing her is the thing that is exposing all the weak habits you've been hiding under love. The need for validation, the over-texting, the lack of purpose, the way you made her the center of your life. All of that was already there. The breakup just dragged it into the light. So yeah, it hurts. Of course it does. You invested in someone and she walked off like it wasn't a big deal. It feels disrespectful. It feels like all the memories meant nothing. But this moment is not the end of your story. This is the part where you decide what kind of man you actually want to be. You can stay the guy who begs, stalks, and waits. Or you can turn into the guy she never thought you could become. Let's break down what really happened and what you need to change. First, why she chose him. She didn't suddenly become blind. She didn't magically find someone who is objectively better in every way. That's not how attraction works. She chose him because of how she felt around him, compared to how she felt around you. You're probably stuck in that loop of questions. Was it something I said? Did I stop being romantic? Was I not paying enough attention? You're trying to solve it like a math problem. You're looking for that one moment where everything went wrong. That's not how it works. It wasn't one message. It wasn't one argument. It wasn't one missed call. It was the emotional picture she built of you over time. How predictable you became. How certain she felt about you. How much she could read you and control the situation. Attraction doesn't stay high when there is no challenge, no uncertainty, no feeling of movement. A lot of guys don't want to hear this, but here it is. She didn't leave because you were too bad. Most of the time, women leave men who treated them pretty well. The guy who listened, showed up, supported, and planned a future. On paper, he looks perfect, and she still walks away. Why? Because over time, she stopped feeling excited around him. People are drawn to whoever feels like progress, not whoever feels safe in a boring way. Progress can be ambition, growth, confidence, standards, a clear direction in life. It can also just be unpredictability compared to the routine you gave her. The guy she chose might not make more money than you. He might not have a better job, or better looks, or better manners. That doesn't matter if he makes her feel more tension, more curiosity, more emotional movement. Maybe she doesn't fully know where she stands with him. Maybe he doesn't answer instantly. Maybe he has strong boundaries. All of that changes the way she feels. You probably started like that too. At the beginning, you weren't always available. You had your own life. You didn't answer every message in 2 seconds. She wasn't sure what you were thinking, and that made her think about you more. She had to earn your attention. She had to wonder what you were doing. Then you got comfortable. You made her the center. You started checking in all the time. You reacted to everything she did. She could predict your texts, your responses, your reactions. She knew you weren't going anywhere, no matter how she behaved. Once you gave her full emotional access to you for free, you took away the process of earning you. And when there's nothing left to earn, interest drops. That doesn't make her evil, and it doesn't make you useless. It just means the dynamic shifted. She saw you as routine, and routine without respect and challenge feels flat. So stop thinking, what did he have that I didn't? Start thinking, how did I start acting like my whole life depended on one person's attention? Second, you need to understand that the way you see love is different from the way a lot of women experience it. As a man, you can stay in love with someone because of history, loyalty, and logic. You look at the time together, what you've built, what you've gone through, and you stay. Even when excitement drops, you still feel loyal. Women, in general, lean more on how they feel in the present. If the emotion drops low enough for long enough, it can override the memory of everything you did before. She doesn't sit there doing a logical calculation of all your good actions. She just knows he feels bored, unappreciative, or disconnected. And then she starts pulling away. You were probably told that the right way to keep a girl is to give her everything. Always listen, always be there, always put her first, always agree, be the good guy at all times. Never say no, never let her get upset with you, never set a boundary. Then you watch her lose interest while some other guy who gives her way less attention suddenly gets all of it. Here's the problem. When you put her above yourself, she starts to see you below herself. You turned yourself into her project, not her partner. Instead of leading your own life and letting her join, you followed her emotional state and tried to fix it nonstop. You gave her 100% access to your time, your feelings, your attention, your schedule. That doesn't feel like strength. It feels like dependence. People respect what they have to earn. If she had to earn your commitment, earn your affection, and earn deeper parts of you, she would value it more. When you gave all of that away in the first months and never pulled back to focus on yourself, you turned it into background noise. So here's a rule you need to keep in mind. She is not supposed to be your purpose. She is supposed to be part of your life while you live your purpose. If your whole world was her, you made a huge mistake. If you dropped your hobbies, stopped training, lost focus at work, stopped improving yourself, and made her your main target, you turned yourself into a guy with no center. That is not attractive long term. A man who knows his worth does not beg for a place in someone's life. He builds his life and lets people earn a place in it. That's the shift you need. Third, stop chasing. Seriously, stop. Most guys mess up the breakup stage because they think effort can fix attraction. They think if they just explain enough, apologize enough, send the right message, or show enough change, she'll come running back. That's not how she reads it. Every call you make just to ask why, every long message, every late night check-in, every story you post hoping she sees it, all of that shows one thing. You're still reacting to her. You're still placing her above yourself. You're still seeing her choice as more important than your standards. Chasing her doesn't show strength. It shows that you don't accept reality unless she approves it. When you chase, you basically say, my time isn't important. My self-respect can wait. I will put all my focus on someone who already left. That kills attraction faster than anything. She knows you're not going anywhere. She knows you'll answer. She knows you're thinking about her constantly. There is no reason for her to respect your position when you clearly don't respect it yourself. Think about the men women usually stay obsessed with. It's not the ones who beg. It's the ones who have their own standards. The ones who don't spam her phone. The ones who can walk away, not because they're playing a trick, but because they actually refuse to live like this. So you need to pull your focus back from her and put it onto you. That means no more constant checking. No more checking her online status. No more just one more message. No more sending things to get closure. You already have closure. She left. That's your answer. Use the time and energy you were spending on her to work on yourself. Yeah, everyone throws around no contact like some trick to make her miss you. But used properly, it's not about her at all. It's about creating a gap so you can think clearly without emotional noise and without constant reminders. During that gap, your job is not to stare at your phone. Your job is to rebuild. Which brings us to the next part. You can't sit in your room, scrolling through old photos, and call that healing. That's not healing. That's just reopening the wound over and over again. You wake up, you feel that heavy feeling in your chest, and your mind goes straight back to her. You grab your phone, you check if she messaged, you check who she followed, you scroll through her pictures, and now your whole day is done before it even started. Most men stop here. They live inside that cycle for months. Some stay stuck for years. They think about what she's doing while their own life doesn't move. They lose muscle, lose money, lose drive, and lose self-respect. And the cruel part is this: no one respects that. Not her, not your friends, not even you. So what do you do instead? You rebuild in every direction. Body, mind, money, social life, habits, standards. Start with your body. Not because you're trying to show her. Do it because you need discipline and you need structure. Go train, lift, run. Do something that pushes you. At first, you'll probably think about her during your workout, and that's fine. Use that energy to push harder. Let the feeling fuel the set instead of your next text. Don't leave the gym until you've done the work you said you would do. Keep showing up even on days you don't feel like it. Slowly, your body changes. But more important than that, your identity changes. You stop seeing yourself as the guy who got left and start seeing yourself as the guy who shows up for himself. Then fix your daily routine. Sleep at a decent time. Eat like someone who respects his body. Set a time for training, a time for work, and a time for learning. That alone separates you from most men. Next, look at your money and your goals. Where have you been lazy? Where have you been saying later for the last 2 years? Start working on that. Learn a skill, build something. Take your work seriously. You don't need to build an empire overnight, but you do need to stop drifting. Every hour you spend working on your future is an hour you are not wasting on her social media. Every small win you stack in your own life is a reminder that your value is not tied to whether one person stayed or left. And you can't ignore your mind either. Read, listen, learn. Study relationships, psychology, money, health. Understand what went wrong in this relationship. Not so you can fix this one, but so you don't repeat it in the next one. Surround yourself with people who push you. If your entire circle is just people who sit around complaining or numbing out, you will stay exactly where you are. You need at least a couple of people who have standards, who train, who are focused, who talk about plans, not gossip. All of this does something silent but powerful. It makes you a man who is moving forward. And that's the kind of man women think about long after they walk away. Now let's talk about detachment, because this is where a lot of guys fail. Detachment doesn't mean you suddenly feel nothing. It doesn't mean you pretend she never mattered. It doesn't mean you become cold and fake. It means you stop tying your value to her reaction. Right now, Every move you make is probably filtered through what will she think. If you post something, you hope she sees it. If you don't post anything, you hope she worries. If you go out, you secretly want her to somehow find out. That is still attachment. You are still living for her opinion. Detachment is when your decisions are for you, not for her. You train because you want to be strong and healthy. You work because you want freedom and respect. You go out because you want a good social life. It stops being about sending a message to your ex. To get there, you need distance. Block or mute if you have to. Not as a game, but as protection. If seeing her face, her name, or her updates drags you back emotionally, remove that trigger. You are not weak for doing that. You're protecting your focus. When you detach, you become calmer. You don't rush to reply if she reaches out. You don't think every move she makes is secretly about you. You don't break your routine to respond to her late at night. You stop bending your standards to keep her around. Ironically, that is exactly the energy women are drawn to. Not the fake, I don't care mask, but the real I am fine with or without you attitude. Detachment also means you keep some parts of yourself private. You don't need to tell her everything you're doing. You don't need to share every thought online. You don't need to prove anything. When people can't fully read you, they get curious. Curiosity leads to interest. But again, the point is not to manipulate her. The point is to live in a way where you are not constantly trying to impress anyone. Now, will she regret leaving if you do all of this properly? Most likely, yes. At some point. Not instantly. Not while she's caught up in something new and distracting. But over time, when the excitement with the new guy settles and she looks around, she will compare. She'll remember how much you used to give. She'll see the man you turned into after she left. She'll notice your body is better, your life is more stable, your standards are higher, your social life looks better, your energy is different. That comparison hits hard, but here's the important part. Her regret is not your goal. If your only mission is I want her to regret leaving, you're still controlled by her. You're still basing your progress on her opinion. That's not real power. Real power is when you improve so much that her opinion stops mattering, even if she comes back. There's a good chance she'll test the situation again. She might send a short message asking how you are. She might react to a story. She might bring up some old memory, not because she's suddenly fully committed again, but because she wants to see if she still has access. The old you would jump at that. The new you doesn't. The new you looks at her actions, checks if they line up with your standards, and makes a choice from a calm place. Sometimes that choice will be to ignore it and keep moving. Sometimes it might be to talk briefly, but it will never again be to drop everything and go back to the same dynamic that broke you. Because by then, you'll understand something simple. She wasn't the point. She was the lesson. The lesson that you can't build your whole identity around one person. The lesson that overgiving without standards kills attraction. The lesson that chasing never works. The lesson that your body, your money, your mind, and your habits need to be right before you even think about leading a relationship. So here's what you do from now on. You stop acting like this breakup is a disaster. You start treating it like a checkpoint. This is the point where the weak version of you stays behind and the stronger version moves forward. You stop begging for attention and start building presence. You stop asking why she chose him and start asking why you chose to lose yourself. You stop sending long messages and start stacking long-term wins. When you walk into a room in the future, you want people to feel the difference. Not because you're loud or trying to show off, but because you look like a man who takes himself seriously. You're in shape, you're put together, you have direction. You're not trying to impress anyone. You're just living your standards. Women notice that. Your ex will notice that. But the main thing is that you notice it. The hardest part is letting go of the idea that she was the one. She wasn't. If she was the one, she wouldn't have left when you were loyal and committed. She was the one who matched the level you were at back then. You are not staying at that level, so you let her go in your mind. Fully. You stop checking on her. You stop hoping for that one-day message that fixes everything. You stop building fantasies and start building reality. You focus on becoming a man with options. A man who has standards. A man who can walk away from any situation that doesn't match his values. A man who doesn't collapse when a woman chooses someone else, because he knows he never stops choosing himself. You're not here just to survive heartbreak. You're here to turn it into fuel. No more chasing. No more waiting. No more putting your life on pause because one person walked out. Get up. Fix your routine. Train your body. Build your skills. Upgrade your circle. Raise your standards. Move like someone who has decided that this was the last time he gave more to a person than he gave to himself. You don't need her to come back. You need to become the man who never loses himself again.